All right, welcome to the Recruiter Startup Podcast. I'm your host, Dualta Doherty, and I'm here with Manu and Lander from Spott. How's it going today, boys?
Very good.
Lovely.
Very good.
So, Spott, what is it? Tell us quickly.
Yeah, so Spott is like an AI-Native ATS and CRM. So the new modern ATS with all kind of AI capabilities built in from the start.
Okay, so is it like, so I open it up and everything's in there. I don't need to buy lots of other things and put it in?
Yeah, exactly. And that's important because if AI is really good with having kind of the full context, all the messages, all kind of the communication with everyone, clients, contacts. So yeah, it's kind of all in there. It's an all-in-one with the AI.
All right. So my team have recently migrated across. They're loving it. And they'll tell me if they're not.
That's good.
They have a proper, yeah. Because recruiters they're not easy people, right? And if you interrupt their workflows, it can be hard.
Definitely.
Time is money for them. Yeah.
So guys, look, today I suppose there's a lot of things that interest me about you guys. Firstly, you're in Belgium, in Leuven. Mm-hmm. It's not the Mecca of recruitment.
That's true.
Right? It's not the place where I envisaged somebody would be having a crack at taking over the ATS world. And you're a bunch of friends. You've done it over the last while. Tell me a little bit about the origin. So where did you guys meet and walk me through a bit of that journey?
Yeah, we're three co-founders, so Manu and Samuel. I think both of us, or the three of us, I think we got to know each other like 8 years ago. It was actually in Leuven. So we were just studying here. We're all doing the same course, business engineering. Met through some student club and basically like hit it off immediately afterwards. So that's where we became best friends.
Yeah.
And I think spent all of our holidays together after that for like the next few years. All of us ended up in consulting, working in Brussels.
Yeah.
They're different companies, but always stayed in touch. Did that for about 2-3 years each. Happened to be in touch with the recruiting space quite a bit, like each of us individually. And
in what way?
Yeah, we have these different projects, right? You rotate through while you're junior. And we're working for these firms that are either staffing, recruiting firms like bigger agencies, both Europe, UK, I think even Middle East, as an example. Yeah. And at some point, we put our heads together and thought, let's do something together, right? Instead of like working at these consulting companies. Yeah. And just talking about it, we didn't even know about each other that we were working for the recruiting space. Concurrently, we didn't know about each other. And then we said, actually, there's a big thing here, and especially with like AI coming up, there's so many opportunities in that space. There's a lot of legacy ATSs out there that won't be able to catch up. I think this is the moment for us, like to start working on a big issue.
What was the problem you were going to solve?
No, we saw that I think the bigger agencies we were working with, they were all running on the bullhorns of this world. And we saw the systems, they look a bit dated. They're storing data. They're not really understanding it. They're not really doing anything with it, like putting that data to action. And that causes like recruiters not to be on the phone like half of their day, which is in the end where they make their money, like talking to their candidates and their contacts, making sure that placements are happening. Yeah. But each time they have to go back into an ATS log, that they send an email, sent a message, that they left a voicemail, that they did not pick up the phone. And these are all these small things.
Friday afternoon tasks.
It takes so much time. Yeah. It takes so much time. It's very time consuming. And that's where we said, okay, this needs to change. And especially with AI coming about and like being able to match your candidates, draft your messages, all these like tiny little admin related items, we thought, okay, we need to get this out of here and out of this business as soon as possible. So
3 Belgian guys, relatively no recruitment experience. How dare you? How dare you try and do this? One of the things that interests me about your journey is... and I'm obsessed with San Francisco startups and what that world is. Walk me through. So you're in a cafe probably. You're having a talk. You're long-term friends. You've discovered that there's a bit of a problem with the ATS world. You think that there might be a solution of knitting it all together. How do you do that from going off to San Francisco and quitting your jobs and doing all, like it's an unusual journey, you know? So I'm really fascinated. Walk me through it. How'd you get into Y Combinator?
I think we also had some friends who were also we're also in my Combinator and founded different companies.
Yeah.
So we already had some discussion about what it is to found like a company, etc. But then of course you have to find kind of an ID, and then we discussed with each other like what can we do here, and then we were like, it was actually quite easy. Like, okay, we're all working on in this recruitment space.
Yeah.
We see the same problem. Maybe it's interesting to kind of look more into it. Then we started speaking with some recruiters, asking a bit for feedback, and then it was quite obvious that this could be a big thing. And then we just kind of decided to go all in. We were kind of the people that if you want to do something, we really go all in.
Yeah.
So, and all in meant in the startup world, and also going to San Francisco, going to Y Combinator, getting kind of also the best support there.
You lived out there, did you?
Yeah, we went there for 3 months, and their mindset is really about kind of, it's all about users. We need to talk to recruiters, kind of hear what they have to say, talk to them, see what they want, and then build it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're doing.
How collaborative or competitive was the cohort? What was it like being in a room full of really ambitious other
Extremely
founders?
collaborative.
Yeah.
Really?
Definitely.
That's insane.
It's especially, it's a very big contrast to Belgium. If you're in San Francisco, it's impossible to get a beer on a Friday night without talking about technology. There's events that are only focused on advanced reg, vector databases.
Yeah.
Everyone is just talking about technology, and they're all applying it usually to their own vertical, to their own space. And it's a bunch of 18 to 25-year-olds. They're super smart. They know everything about the latest technology.
Yeah.
Like anytime OpenAI would come out with a new model, somebody would have heard like 72 hours before, and they would share it. They would already talk about it, be ready to implement it like the second it's released.
Yeah.
It's a completely different and super collaborative atmosphere between all the batchmates in the core, definitely.
So what was it? What did the 3 months entail? So you make an application, obviously. You get accepted. Do they fund your trip to go over there, or like, can you walk me through what the finances are at an early stage?
Yeah, exactly. They make an initial investment of $500,000 just to get you kind of
all right.
going.
You're very blasé about this. How did it feel when $500,000 hit your bank account and you're going to San Francisco? Like, this is...
Honestly, the feeling is good, obviously, but it brings, I think for us, it brought more stress, because then you knew that, okay, now it's for real.
Yeah.
And we got into YC relatively early, like when our product was in really early stages.
Yeah.
And then we knew, okay, now we actually need to make things happen, actually get this out there and make sure that it's like a worthy product that people want to use and love to use. And we only had 3 months. So as of that moment, the clock immediately starts ticking, and you know, okay, now it's actually time to put the pedal to the metal and make sure we're out there in 3 months.
And what did you learn? What did you do? Like, how do you go from having I presume you had an MPC before you went.
Yeah.
And it completely changed probably in the 12 weeks that you were there, right? Because you're getting user feedback, you're amongst brilliant minds. Like, what did that journey look like over 12 weeks?
Yeah, I think in terms of product, like we originally applied with just a small subset of what we were doing today, which was just on candidate report writing.
Really?
Drafting candidate reports off of like interview transcripts, voice notes, candidate CVs, and so on.
Yeah.
Was also a bit more tailored towards exec search back at the time, because that's where the reports are usually longer. And then I think very early in our journey, we realized actually if we want to do this properly, like from the core, we should move into the ATS direction. Yeah. And so we started building towards that.
That was there in...
Yeah, towards like November, December. So we started as of in January. Yeah. And we realized, okay, that's the direction we want to move towards. And that's actually the product that we wanted to put in front of investors again after 3 months. So we just had to start working on the ATS, on the core of the ATS, like in December. Yeah. And we knew we had to get that done like within the next 3-4 months. And that's why we were so nervous, because in the end, the product that we presented was no longer the report writer at all anymore. That was just one tool, part of like 20-25 tools that we have in the current system. So it's completely changed over the course of that period.
So what is it like? You're locked in a room working 24/7. It's
literally that. It's we spent the first month in Palo Alto.
Yeah.
We had like a nice bungalow there. It was actually really chill. But we're sleeping with 4 or 5 there in the same house. You wake up in the morning, everyone's there. Manu's on calls with people in the EU already as of 4 a.m. in the morning. Others are working late. So it's just like 24/7. There's something going on.
Wow.
After the first month, we moved actually into the city. Yeah. So then we were like in what's it called again? Not the dog patch, the mission.
Yeah.
You were there.
It's an amazing place.
It's a bit more tough.
It's a bit gritty though, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Especially now, it's.
But yeah, it was 6 days out of 7 at least.
Wow.
14 hours a day to get our products out there. It was quite tough.
Was there pressure to stay in America and build it from America, or were they happy for you to come back to this beautiful little city that is pretty far away from your end goal of global domination?
I wouldn't say there's pressure per se. I think from the YC perspective, if they look at the numbers, like 85% of unicorns are built in San Francisco.
Yeah.
That's what they make it very clear in the batch. Although I think a lot of the European startups in the end always move back.
Yeah.
From the investor side, I think depends a bit. You have investors that really do like to invest in EU companies, others that are US only, so to speak. So I think it's a matter of finding who you fit with, basically, on the investor side. But I think if we said, look, we will keep up the pace that the team in San Francisco can put down, but we're gonna do it from where we started. Yeah. We're gonna do it to the people that speak Dutch, that we know here from the KU Leuven, and I think the results are starting to get there as well. So I think we made the right play, and I think we made the right bet. I think there's maybe always a bit of pressure to stay in the US, just to kind of embody the spirit. I was talking about we were talking about the spirit between the cohort, and I think it's sort of like motivating each other. But I think if we can do that ourselves within the team, it's not per se necessary.
Yeah. What was it like when you get to the final couple of weeks? Is it nerve-wracking? Are you fighting for money with other people?
Yeah, then the fundraising starts, because at the end of YC, after 3 months, there's like a demo day, and you present what you basically do as a company, also your revenue, and then you can present it to investors, and then you have to raise money. And that's kind of a very busy week. At like over 60 meetings, investor meetings in 1 week. Wow. So just back to back, half an hour meeting investors and explaining what you are doing, and also what you want to do, of course, because you're only worked on it for a couple of months. And you, of course, want to be there for like many, many years to come. So you need to explain that vision, and they need to believe in you and raise that money. So that's kind of a bit stressful, because you need to, your revenue also needs to go up. It needs to be, you're basically balancing, getting more revenue, selling, and then also starting all the fundraising conversations. And you're not really competing with the other founders, I think, because in the end, there's kind of money enough for good businesses. Okay. So you just need to make your own case.
It's not Fame Academy, right? Yeah. Okay, so you're there, you have 70 meetings. Obviously, the product then isn't what it is now.
Yeah. Definitely.
Are you getting battered by some of these investors at the start? Like what? Like that must be daunting. You're in front of absolute killers. Like you don't have it all figured out at this stage. Like what was that like?
I think especially US investors it's very different from the EU, at least from what I've heard from Manu, because he's been in most of the calls. But it's that US investors, they're much more willing to take risk. And for them, it's much more, we're investing in a team. Yeah. And I see that these guys, they want to go all the way. They're going to give it all to get there. Yeah. And they're playing an interesting market. I think that's enough for them to get the feeling that, okay, this is where I want to put my money in. Yeah. And what the current state of the product is like, and what the current revenue numbers look like, is like an afterthought, I think. Sort of like to justify the investment. But I think in 80% of cases, just the team, the idea is already more than enough to get them over the line.
Yeah. And coming back here and setting up shop here, instead of having a remote team, what's the benefits of having everybody here? Like, and how are you able to really like keep that energy going here? And how do you go about that?
I mean, I worked at Bain before. I've worked over Zoom quite a bit during COVID as well. Yeah. There's so much loss of information. There's so little knowledge sharing between everyone. I would never want to have my team go back to that kind of setup. Right now, we have 10 engineers that are working side by side. Everyone's learning from each other every day. Yeah. Anything that's needed, in the end, like if we're talking really product, the code base is like more than 1 million lines of code. If I'm looking for something, I just need to talk to the rest of the team to find where is this, what's that, how is this impacting this and that. The product is so complex that you need that, I feel like. And doing that in person for me is so adamant. It's like at the core of being able to execute on that efficiently. Yeah. And it's going super fast. Like every week there's new releases, new updates, new features going live. And the only way to make that work is if the group is tightly knit together and everyone understands each other, knows each other, can trust each other. And I think you only achieve that level of like team spirits when you're all together in the office.
And Manu, are you running the sales side and you're running project management side? Is that fair?
Product, yes.
Product, what that means? Everything?
It's a bit, I think currently it's cutting across a little. It's okay, we're trying to speak to the customers that are already onboarded. What are they looking for? What are they still struggling with? Yeah. And we're translating that into what we're going to let our engineers do. Like where can we improve and how are we going to do it? And translating that into sort of like tickets, like that they actually know, like very actionable feedback. This is what should happen that we can release next week. This is the timeline for that. So indeed, it's a bit of project management, if that's what you like to call it.
Where do you see your product and the ATS product, the ATS market in 2028?
It's a long time. It's going quite fast these days.
It's going fast right now, right? Like products like yours didn't exist like 18 months ago, or 2 years ago.
It's a difficult question. I think in terms of what I see today is at least the most advanced recruiters, they have a legacy ATS that's been there for 10, 15, 20 years already. Yeah. And those that are the most advanced are now stacking a bunch of tools on top of that to do individual parts of the workflow. Yeah. So they do reformatting CVs, writing reports, outreach campaigns, marketing, anything of the sorts. I think as we're moving more towards 2026, 2027, 2028, there's many more tools that will be sort of AI native, where vector databases, understanding, actioning on your data has to become like a core part of the workflow, because that's where the real efficiency gains will take place. So recruiters can have more conversations, make more placements individually. I think that's what we need to move towards. So I think there's a lot of ATSs out there that are integrating with new tools, but nothing's fundamentally changing at the core. And I think they will be losing out over the next 3 years.
Yeah, it's an interesting marketplace, because it's been a tough couple of years. So we're all looking at spend all the time. And when I look at that LinkedIn Recruiter ATS, all the bells and whistles with an ATS, maybe some job boards. What's going to stay? What's going to remain? What is that? If you look at that trifecta, what do you think the future is? Is there a solution for people not having LinkedIn Recruiter? Is that where an ATS could go eventually?
I think it's tough to go around LinkedIn at the moment. That's where like the databases, everyone's on LinkedIn, right? But the view that it's always a cost issue, that to me is so special, because you make one placement and you're already 5xing the return on your ATS system.
For sure.
So I never look at it really from the cost perspective. If I can get you 10, 20 more conversations per month, and only one of them needs to fall, you will get the return on your ATS. So I never really look at it from the cost perspective. Always more like, if we can make you more efficient, the investment in the ATS will definitely more than pay off relative to what you're doing today.
And currently, relatively small team still. I know that you're doing work in America. You've customers in different locations. Yeah. Like, are you spreading yourself too thin? Are you like, how are you guys managing to do a global operation with such a small team? And what does the next 18 months, 24 months look like from a growth perspective?
Yeah, so at the moment, I think, we kind of have to expand our team at some point. There are a lot of benefits of staying small, because you're close to each other and you can kind of go as fast as possible. But we're definitely expanding. But you don't want to go from like 10 employees to 100 at like one single point. We just would kind of slowly grow it, so that everyone kind of embraces the culture. And I think that's important. So probably next year we will be with 20, 25 people. And
here still?
that's still kind of up for discussion. I think the engineering team, we definitely want to stay kind of together, but then sales, can be more in UK, US, maybe set up satellite office, also have customer success. It's also important. And at the moment, we just have to work very long hours to kind of also deal with it. Because we want to be there for our customers. And for example, US as well, that just means that we have to work so late evenings.
None of you guys have ambitions to move to New York within the leadership team, or you're all happy here in Belgium?
I think you do have the ambition to also go to New York, but we really want to also stay together as founders, because that's quite beneficial. Because also when we were in my Combinator, I also flew back for some customers in Europe for like 2-3 weeks, and you immediately see like, it's actually important for the founders to also be together. So you can do that, but I cannot just live in New York and then London and then somewhere here in Belgium with the engineering team. That's also not an option. So it needs to be, you can open an office there, but you cannot just live in different places.
Well, one of the things that's impressed me about you guys is you are you're open to feedback, and
you need to be.
Well, you say that, right? And I've dealt with so many people, and a lot of them are like, no, we know, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
But anytime I've dealt with you guys and I've said, look, it's a 30-man business, they need this, and this, it seems to get fixed. So what does that feedback loop look like internally? Are you are you going to him and then he's demanding the engineers, or how does that whole thing work?
So it currently works is on the sales side. So if I'm doing sales and there is a prospect and they're very interested in our product, but they are, for example, an agency with more than 100 users, for example, then they mention, okay, I really like your product, but like these 4 things are definitely needed. And then I just discuss it with him and see if it's possible. Does it fit?
Landers, you're not going to sleep for the next.
Does it fit our timeline?
I always say yes. It's gonna.
And then we make a plan and then we kind of do it. That's on the sales side, but I think product is also
and I think there's also requests coming in through other channels, like for onboarded clients already, and I think it's just sort of a puzzle that I need to make every day or at least every week. Like,
what's the priority?
What are the priorities? Who can do what? Also, because obviously we have a lot of different skills in the team. We know who likes to do what, who's really good at doing X, Y, or Z. And it's sort of like puzzling it together. Like, how can we optimize to make as many people as possible happy for our next update on Friday? That's sort of what we're doing.
How do you decide what integrations you do and what you develop yourself? This is the core question of any ATS, right?
Yeah, I think the rule is rather clear for us. It's anything that we perceive as being a core function of the ATS. I think we want to pull in-house. Anything that's related, for instance, to matching, to updating your candidate profiles, and as an extension of that, sort of your note taking. We want to have control over that, so we know exactly what audio is coming in, how we're going to be transcribing that, what updates it's going to make. We don't want to leave it to other parties, because all of that is going into feed. It's like sort of the start of the matching engine, and it's the start of the outreach campaigns. So that data, we want to be very clear on what comes in and what goes out. In terms of integrations, obviously you have the obvious ones like an Outlook or a Gmail to synchronize your emails. Something that's a good example is, for instance, on voice over IP. We were thinking of doing it in-house, but there's so much stuff that's not core to our business to manage dealing with different phone numbers in so many different countries and SMS providers, and you need telecom licenses and you need to port numbers. It's so far away from our core that's where we're looking for integration selectively. They provide us with audio, and that's where we take over. We're going to make sure that we get the highest quality speech-to-text transcription, use that data to feed back into the profiles, and so on. So that's a bit our guideline. Like, if we think it's super essential to what we're going to be doing along the full way, end to end, then we want to do it in-house, and only like for very specific things that's really not core for an ATS to do. That's where we're looking at integrations.
Okay. It's a tough one.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And in the future, are you going to go after talent acquisition as well, or are you going to focus just on the agency world?
We have no plans at all to go to talent acquisition. Just only focus on agencies, because we really believe it's kind of a different product.
Yeah,
it's you're kind of a middleman. You are presenting candidates to a client. It's a completely different workflow. While TA, they focus more on kind of onboarding, and they don't need to present it because they're basically presenting it internally. And we have seen some agencies kind of setting up hundreds of different departments and then using that as clients, but like it's a complete mess. And so we want to focus on agencies only.
All right. Okay, lads. Well, I think that's almost us today. Thank you so much for doing the podcast.
Good chat.
And we're really happy to partner with you at RecWired. And just if anybody's interested in the product, who are you guys suitable for? And let me give you the question that a lot of people will want to ask. When can you safely say that you're going to be suitable for a contract business as well?
Yeah, I think on the product side, contract business, what do you think? How long are we still off?
I think we can do Q1 2026.
Yeah. Q1 2026 contract.
Absolutely. We'll make it happen.
Excited about it.
Excellent. All right. Thank you so much, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks
thank you.
a lot.
All right.
Thank you.